get ready to have a good time. This is exciting, isn't it?
All right, we're on. Hello, testing.
Welcome aboard the Dreamliner.
It's the only way to fly.
Prepare the water cooler, that we may gather around it later and discuss things.
Who thinks of this?
Gary.
Here's a young speaker who is really in demand.
Don't let that go to your head, Gary.
But wait, there's
See,
more.
I'm the guy.
He's Garry Meier.
Welcome to the November 2020 edition of the Garry Meier Show Cocktail Hour Live. We went wheels up at 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 o'clock Central. And of course, you can replay this episode whenever is convenient.
Cocktails, woo!
Did you know that this is our 26th consecutive week of Friday Cocktail Hour live streams? That's half a year. Let's look back to the very first episode.
To Garrforce Live, and this is made possible because of premium members.
Of course, the quality is better when you go to our YouTube channel. It's free to subscribe to Garrforce Live, and you can see all of our live shows and replay any you've missed right there. When technology cooperates, we multi-stream to provide the full interactive live Garrforce experience on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter Periscope. Your comments are welcome during our live shows on any of those platforms. And you can also text us at 773-888-2157. Charges may apply. I think that's everything I need to cover, and as I say each week, no matter where you are, it's time for a digital mimosa. Now, fasten your seatbelts. It's time to go wheels up for the 26th time on the Garrforce Live.
Thank you, Alan Delinka. Appreciate it. Let's kick the tires. Let's light the fires. Let's go wheels up. What do you say? I say yes. Also, we're adding something new here. Relax your sphincter, because that will let you enjoy the show even more. There are the tires and the fires. Hope you had a good week. My special guest today is Gianni Russo. He played Carlo in The Godfather. And he has a lot of interesting stories to share with us in just a few minutes. And I am drinking hard seltzer again. I'm drinking black cherry hard seltzer. This Truly, I don't know, black cherry, Truly. Oh, black cherry, Ramalam. Oh, black cherry, Ramalam. I wanted to remind you of a few things here. Next Friday, we're not going to do a show. No live show next Friday because I'd like to stand in line to get a toolbox for half price and maybe get a life-threatening virus. And I don't want to miss that opportunity. So no live show next Friday. There will be something posted on Friday, but not a live show. And then we'll be back the week after. All right. Want to also tell you that the premium members are the people that support this program. Keep it going. Thank you. For those lengthier shows, you get this, and then the free people can enjoy it too. But if you can, please subscribe to the premium shows. I'd appreciate it. Let's welcome Leslie into the program, see what she's drinking.
A harder cider. It's called Wine. It's a nice Chardonnay from Sonoma County, and it's something you can readily pick up at Trader Joe's, my favorite wine emporium.
Nice. Let's look at some of the people that are checking in. Martin from British Columbia. He's here every week. Keely, Sandy, Dog Boy, Patty, and if you'd like to talk on
Ryan
the show,
Corcoran, he had a birthday this week. Happy birthday, Ryan.
Ryan did.
Yeah.
Ryan
He's
from Wisconsin.
I think he's 25 or something. Yes.
Yeah, he's a very young man, and he sends me a lot of stuff, which I really appreciate. And I want to mention that my good friend Dave Novotny, the sculptor, he lets me give away stuff every week, and he wants me to give away the coffee clock, that metal coffee clock right there. And I will scan the text and give that away, and I'll contact you and let you know if you're the one who got the metal coffee clock. He does great work, Mr. Novotny does, and he's very generous in the things he gives away. And I know some of you who got crucifixes just got them and are very excited to get the crucifix. And you don't even have to be religious. This is just a beautiful piece that I've had hanging on my wall for years. And if you're religious, great, it's a bonus. But it's just beautiful to see Jesus on my wall. I want Jesus to be close.
It's a great conversation starter, even if you aren't Christian. So yeah, it's because everybody would walk in the office at our old job at a radio station, and it's exactly something you see in an office these days. So
Yes.
yeah, it was always eye-catching.
It's a beautiful piece. I mentioned on the show a few days ago that Whatever Works catalog that I get, I think it comes out 2, 3, 4 times a year. And in the past, they've had a couple pages of marital aids. And then I noticed this most recent one, they dropped the marital aids. I'm sure they got a lot of blowback, but I'm sure the people that sell the marital aids pay a lot of money to be in that catalog. But I think they're being a little sneaky. They do have something. Ellen, do you have the, okay.
Yeah.
That is a device to break your window and cut the seatbelt if you go into water. And there's a flashlight, you can see that. Okay, look at the shape of that thing. Now, look at in the catalog, look how the guy's holding it. Uh-huh.
Well, it's also a door handle. You put it there, and it's an aid. It's a
to open your car door if you can't open the car door. But is that how? Look at that! Come on.
Yeah. Well,
Ooh,
I don't think that's just by chance that it's shaped that way.
I've never had a happy ending opening my car door, but that's me. Maybe you have.
Because you haven't got one of these things, and now maybe it's time for us to pitch in and get you one for Christmas.
Exactly. Speaking of Christmas, good friends at Tree Time would like you to stop by and get your decorations and lights and garland, all the stuff you need for Christmas and the artificial trees. I don't know if you've noticed this, but I'll be driving down the highway in August and I'll see a flatbed truck loaded with freshly cut Christmas trees in August. You get it home around December 1st and you hit it once and 4,000 needles fall to the ground.
Exactly.
The artificial tree, that doesn't happen. And that's what Tree Time has for you. The selection is good now, but as we get towards the first part of December, it shrinks because if you're getting an artificial tree, you already plan on that and you go and get it now. So Tree Time is in Lake Barrington, Illinois. You can order online, treetime.com, and they have pet ornaments. If you're into pets, they have pet ornaments, 50,000 square feet of showroom to wander around in, and it's COVID safe. They've really made a lot of plans to make sure you're okay if you choose to go to the showroom. And let's just have a little jingle to wrap this up.
Everything Christmas, treetime.com.
Were they not happy with your version last week? Didn't you sing it yourself?
I can sing it, but I think they'd prefer theirs.
It's melodic.
We put up our decorations today because the weather's nice and I raked leaves and I like when it's balmy in November, but then I'm worried that it's balmy in November.
Right.
This can't be right, but nothing's been right since when?
Since the moon made the sun its biatch.
Yeah, a couple years ago, we had the eclipse, the moon did a number on the sun, and come on, stick pin it. Nothing has been right since that moment.
It really was.
I
I
right?
mean, things did take a crazy turn, and let's face it, who could have imagined 2020? I mean, come on. Even in January, who could have imagined where we'd
I
be?
remember when things started to shut down on March 13th, Friday the 13th. And I talked to some people and said, when things get back to normal in a couple weeks, we'll go back and do things.
Easter,
It's November. Then it was Easter. Right, yeah, okay. Then it was Easter. Then it was Memorial Day. Then it was the 4th of July. Then it was Labor Day. Then it was Halloween. Thanksgiving, the CDC says do not do your regular Thanksgiving plans, meaning gathering with a bunch of people. And that might be a good thing with the way this whole election thing has gone. I think that would have been explosive either way. So maybe that's divine intervention. And we could just, with a little group of people, enjoy this Thanksgiving and see what Christmas brings. Already, though, Christmas is being plexiglassed up. Santa's in a hazmat suit. Your kids are gonna talk to Santa in a diving bell. Santa's gonna be in a diving bell. Hello.
You mean a snow globe?
Snow, but they're gonna call it a snow globe, right?
Right.
They're trying
It's
to
still a
dress it up as
diving
best
bell.
they can. That Dutch girl from the orphanage. When is she going to sing Kunti Kinto Kushi Pushi Mapi Poopy? Who's she gonna sing that with? Nobody.
She's gonna hear
Yeah.
Santa.
Yeah, she doesn't understand English. And then Chris goes, "Oh, I know Dutch. Kunti Kunta Punti Pushi Puppy." That's gone. Gone.
Gone.
Gone.
If Elf
Leslie, if you
eats
could-
all that gum that he finds on the subway, his immune
Yeah.
system is going to be much better, though.
Exactly. I always think, and I'll ask Gianni about this because he's been in a number of movies. So they tell Will Ferrell, okay, it's going to be Hollywood gum, but it's still on the railing in New York. How much can you sanitize that railing before you think it's clean enough where you could just take it off and eat it? And he does. Maybe they did some trick photography. I don't know.
That's 100-year-old railing, probably.
There it is. There's your gum right there, your COVID spore. I watched Polar Express last night. I guess now we start watching the Christmas movies, not the Hallmark ones, but
They've been running since like September.
Oh God,
so.
forget. Do they need to make any more new ones? I think they have enough. They could keep running the same ones from 5-10 years ago and not really run out of people that have seen these things 2 or 3 times and they won't complain.
You could creatively edit all the ones that they've already made because essentially it's all the same stuff. You have to have the drinking of the cocoa, the moving of the Christmas tree, and all the other stuff. And then
the premise
at the end.
Right. And the regular premise, the guy who's an architect comes in from out of town because his grandmother died and he has to wrap up her house and sell it. And then he finds her ring and then he meets some woman at the real estate office who's single, and then they do the sausage eyes with each other, and he gives her grandmother's ring.
Or she could be a baker, or she could be a florist. There's some clean professions that they like to keep reusing too. Yes,
exactly. But Polar Express, that's one of my favorites. The guy, Robert Zemeckis, who did that movie, he's from the south side of Chicago, and that address that they give in the movie, I think, is his actual address in Chicago. When Tom Hanks is announcing the address as the train's coming through, that's his address in the Beverly neighborhood in Chicago. And that's where I grew up. Yeah, I grew up in that area. And when I know it's animation, but they show these houses, and that's what those houses look like in Beverly in Chicago. So I get a kick out of that.
So are they just assuming that children wouldn't dox the people who are living there now? Because, I mean, otherwise, don't you figure people would be driving past there all the time?
In what capacity?
Well, anytime. It's why when they give phone numbers in movies, it's always, 555 55 55.
Oh, yeah, right. But the address, it's on Edgebrook, and there's a street there, and I think it's his address. Okay, it's not the Home Alone house, I get that, but still, that is an actual address, I think. But I'll talk to Gianni about movies in just a few minutes here. Leslie, while I'm talking to Gianni, can you keep an eye on the text? If somebody wants to talk on the show, say, I'd like to talk on the show, producer Keith will line that up for you. Text.
Yeah, please.
And Keith will say, okay, here's how you do that. And you can talk on the show. Keith.
And if you're using your fingers right now too, don't forget to like and share on Facebook and on YouTube, because that helps keep us going too. But as you were saying,
especially YouTube with all the problems we've been having with Facebook, and today there was a little user error during the pre-show, but it got fixed and we're doing okay. But the more people who tune us in on YouTube, I think that's the more stable platform going forward, because Facebook keeps changing things, and those changes we don't know about in advance. We only find out when we have errors.
Right. And I mentioned COVID here with Keith. Keith, got COVID a few weeks ago with his wife. and he seems to be doing okay. I want him to update us on his progress. How you doing, Keith?
Pretty good, Gary. I think today's been the best day, since we've had this whole thing, which means tomorrow the bottom will fall out and we'll end up in the hospital or something. But so far today's been good.
What's been the worst symptom?
I've had a cough for probably about 4 or 5 days, and that's been the worst for me. My wife had earlier this week had a migraine for about 3 days, and she just wanted to jump out a window or something. But that's been okay. Yesterday she had a little bit of a breathing problem crop up, but it wasn't. By about the time we really got worried about it, it started to go away, and she's been pretty good today, and we both have. It's been the best so far.
Good. And the way you got it, you traced it back to this promotion, this radio station that Keith works for. They had some event on Halloween. It wasn't necessarily a Halloween event, but it was in Wisconsin, and it was kind of mandatory. Is this how I understand it went down?
Yeah, that's how it went down. That's how we ended up with it.
Mm-hmm. And did your wife go with you, or did you bring it home?
No, she actually works at the same place. We were both working at the event, and lo and behold, both ended up with COVID. Imagine that.
And when you said to management at the radio station, "This is kind of reckless," what was their response?
I probably was. There's a line of people because there's quite a few people who ended up with COVID. So, yeah, I wasn't alone.
So what? They're not saying that they were at fault. They're just saying stay home. Well, you were home anyway, right? You're not going to the radio station.
Yeah, we've been quarantined for a couple weeks now, and still working, but recuperating at home.
So they're not taking any responsibility, is what they're saying.
Basically, no.
Yeah. Okay. That's why I loved radio back in the day. All that bullshit that they put you through. Okay, let's bring the guest on right now. You know him from that masterpiece of a movie, Godfather 1. Gianni Russo played Carlo in that movie and ends up with one of the most iconic pieces of cinema ever filmed. Welcome, Gianni.
Thank you for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
You're more than just an actor. You have quite the portfolio. You're a singer, you're an author, you are a restaurateur, you have your own wine, you're a producer. You've got a lot of things going. And let's start with this. First of all, you're the first guest I've ever had, Gianni, who's killed somebody. So I can check that box on my repertoire.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, that's in your book.
I've had a couple of experiences with that, unfortunately.
And they deserved it, I hope. And you never went to prison for that, right?
Oh, no. It was all self-defense, number one. The first one was a pedophile. And then the second one was an underboss to Pablo Escobar, Lorenzo Morales. And that happened in my nightclub in Vegas in front of 150 people. I actually went to a woman's rescue. She was his date, and he broke a Cristal bottle and stuck it in her face. And Steve Sharippa from The Sopranos and now Blue Bloods was my doorman. He was going to school at UNLV, and I used to hire a lot of the college kids. Plus, he was a big guy, and I put him in a tuxedo, and he just froze. And I called him. I said, "Get to table 7." He said, "I ain't going over there, boss. This guy's nuts." I said, "Well, thanks. That's what I hired you for."
So you stepped in and you shot him?
Well, he went for my throat, missed, and he cut me 80 something stitches under my neck. So that gave me the okay. And I shot him. I shot him right between the eyes, actually.
Wow, that poor neck of yours after Clemenza garroted you, that had to be a little tender.
Been really abused, this neck.
Okay, let's talk about, first of all, Francis Ford Coppola is re-releasing Godfather 3. He's re-edited it, and that's coming out next month. Your thoughts on Godfather 3?
Well, it definitely needed to be re-edited, so I'm anxious to see it, because
not a lot of love for that movie.
Not just me, so many people. I don't know what happened. It just fell apart. But when you you have a trilogy with, and the lead in is Godfather 1 and 2. I think Godfather 2 was better than 1. So I thought 3 was going to be amazing, and it just fell apart.
Well, you're coming off 2 masterpieces, and to get a third masterpiece in the same genre, well, it didn't happen. So we'll see how the re-edited version looks. But let's go to your part in Godfather 1 as Carlo. And here you are kicking out the windshield. All I can show of that is this little photo here. And isn't that your check scene, Gianni? Isn't that what you have in your checks? That foot coming out the windshield?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay. How many takes to do that?
That actually was about 6 takes, but we choreographed it right up to my foot going through the window. And that was a very dangerous thing I found out later, because once my foot went through the window and the camera was mounted on the hood of the car, no one realized I had to get my leg back in and drag it over all that glass. My
was
leg,
that wasn't real glass, was it?
Oh, it had to be, because he tried the breakaway glass and it just broke. So they scored a regular windshield so that I could crack it. And no, that was a real glass window. But
oh, okay. So how do they garrote you? What's the movie magic? How do they do that? Because it looks pretty real in the movie.
But that's the easiest thing. And when I tell you how it was done, you're going to say, wow, I didn't think of that. All I had to do once he put the garrote around my neck and started pulling me, my feet were on the floorboard of the car. I just pushed myself up with it. That was the easy part. Getting through the window, because you're facing the roof of the car, I actually hit the stunt driver one time and knocked him out with my shoe. So, when you're not looking and you're just trying to scramble like a fish on the end of a line, you don't have great direction when you're looking at a Plymouth roof in front of your face. But the scene worked, fortunately.
Yeah, it worked very well. When you were doing the movie, did you have a feeling that you were going to be part of a masterpiece, or did that not happen until you first saw it? What was that moment when you said, wow, this thing is classic?
To me, I was 26 years of age. I always wanted to be an actor, and that was my first film. I never did anything prior to that. So me, it was an ego trip. I was very financially secure already, but I just wanted that notch on my gun. And I was able to work it out with the unions and solved a lot of problems for them. And there I was, making a film debut in a movie that, is critically acclaimed throughout the world. And the 50th anniversary is coming up in 2022. So it's
what was your life after the movie comes out? You're now part of this incredible movie. Things start coming to you, or was it not that? Was it just kind of, well, okay, I had a part in this movie, and now I just got to keep going? How do you follow that up?
Well, I really didn't. Fortunately, a lot of young directors and people like that came to me, and I wound up doing 46 motion pictures, and some of them became classics, like Seabiscuit, Any Given Sunday, Family Man, Striptease with Demi Moore. I've done some big movies, and I still don't consider myself an actor. And the funniest thing, now I'm doing the biggest project I could ever do. They turned my book, Hollywood Godfather, into a 10-hour miniseries. And Nick Vallelonga, who won 2 Oscars in 2018 for Green Book, he's a producer on it, along with Jules Nasso, who's been a friend of mine. I did Out for Justice, one of his Steven Seagal series. So it's been a great ride. I hate to say that to most struggling actors, because I went into the business not needing money, and I think that gave me an easier threshold than trying to take bit parts here and there. I don't know if I would ever been an actor at all.
There was something that I read that said when you were being beaten up by the James Caan character Sonny in the movie, that he actually landed some blows when he's hitting you with the garbage can lid in that whole series, that little scene there. Is that true? Did he really get to you there?
Well, he got very jealous of me. I don't know why, because he's a thespian. He studied, and most of your audience is not going to know this. He was supposed to play Michael, but when Francis got hired to direct it, he saw Pacino in his first and only film, Panic in Needle Park, and he fought to get Pacino as Michael. So he was a little bit bitter already, Jimmy, because of his ego, and he got the smaller part. And obviously, he was out of the movie in the beginning or the middle. And he took it out on me because he thought all these parts were being shuffled around because I was a total unknown. Even Brando tried to get me fired because he said, this guy's got to be so believable. But fortunately, it worked. And I actually got nominated in Cannes Film Festival as most promising newcomer, which they don't even have that category anymore. So it's been a great, great career.
So he did get a few blows that landed. That garbage can lid really did hit you pretty hard.
Well, we choreographed for a day, and then we went in the next day to shoot it just to set up the camera marks. But, when he started banging me with that steel garbage pail cover, he chipped my elbow. And then I'm saying, like, what the hell? Because we choreographed when I crawl through the railing, as soon as he touches my chest, I reacted and rolled over. Well, this time he lifted me up and he broke 2 ribs. And then I wind up in the fire hydrant and I'm laying there and I made a decision. I'll never do another fight scene in a movie. This.
All right, let's go back a few years. In your book, you talk about losing your virginity to Marilyn Monroe. You were 16. She was 33. Was she a gentle lover or a naughty girl?
Well,
naughty kitty.
I could only experience after it. Prior to me, I couldn't believe, first of all, I was with Marilyn Monroe. I saw Some Like It Hot already 10 times before I met her. And I met her as a shampoo boy because I got caught on the streets of New York at 15, not realizing you had to stay in school until you're 16. So they sent me to a vocational school to be a hairdresser for 6 months. And as luck would have it, Kenneth came in and needed shampoo boys for Lily Dashay. And the 4th head of hair, I washed Marilyn Monroe's hair, and then she started requesting me. And then it got a little deeper than that. And I
sounds like it.
Yeah, in more ways than one. And and I wound up being with her. In fact, I was with her the last 3 days of her life up in Calneva before Bobby Kennedy took her out. Literally.
Oh, so you're going with that. The Kennedys did her in.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I knew that.
Okay.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
Look. And
okay,
first, funny, but here we are. The book is out almost 2 years, and no Kennedy came to sue me yet.
In fact, Sunday is the 57th anniversary of Kennedy's assassination.
I know.
Yeah, you do, because you have all those.
I was the messenger for that.
Yeah.
I wound up leaving the country for 22 months after that. But that broke my heart because I didn't know who the target was. And all those previous years, I was working for, Frank Costello, and then graduated up to other people. And I was babysitting Senator John F. Kennedy at the Sands Hotel in Vegas prior to him winning the election. But, his father promised the mob that if you get my son in, his first duty would be the Bay of Pigs and bomb Cuba, and you'll get all your casinos back. That's the only reason they backed him. It was a win-win for everybody. But the mistake John made was to put Bobby in office as Attorney General, and he didn't see eye to eye with that at all. In fact, he hated all his father and his brother's friends that were connected to the mob. And so I thought they were going to take Bobby out. I really thought all these little trips I was taking was to organize Bobby, but they took, as we all know, John out.
one little thing on Marilyn Monroe. Carpeting and drapes all match?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
We have a theme on this Friday's show, Gianni. It's a cocktail theme, and you have your own wine, right?
I have my own wine, and I'm also the ambassador to Don Corleone vodka. So that vodka is doing really well. In fact, you can buy that online in 42 states now. And it's from it's quadruple.
And the olive oil, Genco olive oil?
Genco olive oil. I have Clement. There's olive oil. That's from Sicily, man. That's Barbera olive oil. And that's also online. And something for the audience that are Godfather fans, if they go on Corleone, Fine Italian Foods, they could buy Clemenza's meat sauce in a jar.
Sounds like code to me. Clemenza's meat sauce in a jar.
Right.
When after Clemenza strangles you, you guys go out to dinner later that day and talk about it. And how does that work? What's that atmosphere afterwards? Hey, nice take. Let's go get some lunch.
Well, no, that didn't happen because we were bombarded all the time. We had this set was lockdown set. And after 13 or 14 hours, I didn't want to go out with these guys to begin with. I wanted to go with a bunch of chicks and go back into New York. That was all on Staten Island. But all the thespians hung out together and do lines and talk about what they could have did and didn't do. I was never that guy. It's like,
by doing lines, you mean going over the script or cocaine?
No, strip. No, they were doing lines, that kind of lines. Or maybe they were, I don't know.
Okay. All right. So you have a lot going on. You're locked down in New York City. But before that, you had a production going of the book, right?
Yeah, I made a musical out of the book. And fortunately, Tom Cantone, who's the entertainment director for all the Mohegan Sun casinos, which are 8 now, soon to be 10. I opened Niagara Falls View, 1,500 people, very well received. I was on my way to Atlantic City at Resorts, which is one of their properties. And like you pointed out earlier, Friday the 13th, it closed down. And I've been grounded ever since because of that. But, hopefully we'll get through this like we've done so many other tragedies. And I'll go back to work as a singer also.
Yes, you also sing.
Yeah.
You're a crooner, right? You do Sinatra, Dean Martin.
Well, Sinatra was my only singing teacher, which was
He was your teacher.
Yeah, you taught me how to sing. Marlon Brando taught me how to act. And you already said that, Marilyn Monroe took my virginity at 16.
Gianni, where were your parents? What was going on there? A 16-year-old doing hair. Where were the parents?
What happened was, I got very bitter when August 7th, 1949, I was 6.5 years of age, and I was quarantined to Bellevue. I got polio, and nobody came to see me, which I couldn't understand. And it was really almost tragic for me because, like most of the kids in my ward, they were all depressed. They were dying, a kid or two a day. And I'm saying, where are my mother and father? Why did they do this to me? And I didn't see them for 5 years. So when I got out, I didn't go home. And fortunately, Frank Costello took me under his wing because I don't know where I would have went in as far as my bitterness and my I just was angry. So I never went back home. I did take care of my family, but I never wanted to be a part of them anymore. And thank God I didn't have to be. And I've moved on. And now I have 11 kids of my own, 10 grandsons. It's like insane.
And you haven't been married in almost 30 years. You got all those 11 in prior to 30 years ago.
No, not 30 years. I'm not. Yeah, you're right now.
You said 92. You told me before the show.
Yeah,
that's almost 30 years ago, my brother.
I didn't even think about that.
There it is. Almost 30 years.
My oldest son is 58, so it's crazy.
All right. Well, Gianni, I wish you continued success with everything. And let me just end with this. Tattaglia or Barzini?
It was Barzini.
It was Barzini, wasn't it? Yeah. All right. Here's the envelope with no airplane ticket in it. You're going to Vegas. Your punishment is you're out of the family business, my brother.
You know how funny that is? Because now I'm a part of their business and they're not.
How life works, huh?
Yep.
Have a great Thanksgiving, Gianni. Always a
Thank
pleasure.
you and all your audience also. God bless and stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gianni Russo. How about that for a career and life? All right, Leslie. I am going to pop.
Wow. Well, I think you should. Oh, it's a different flavor now, huh?
This is lime. Lime,
Oh.
yeah.
Black cherry, now lime.
And lime. Yeah. I like my seltzer like I like my abs hard.
Yeah, baby. Hey, we've got a caller, Gar.
Who is it?
It's Phil from Michigan. Hey, Phil.
Phil.
Hey, how's it going, guys? I love both of you. It's been, oh my gosh, I've listened to both of you. We won't talk about that radio station, but I love both of you guys. And I just want to say the reason why I'm calling in is it's amazing the podcast you do. I am signed up as a premium member.
Thank you.
It makes my days go by so great. Thank you guys for what you do. Leslie, I love you. No, I am married, but
oh well, me too. But
wait a minute, wait, he's gonna do a butt here.
No. No, you
like big butts in a can.
Garry, I love you too. Garry, I love you too.
There's nothing wrong with it.
You know what? These live shows, I look forward. Monday morning, I get up and it's like, oh, here we go again with another depressing week. What's going to happen? And Garry, I agree with you. When that solar thing happened, the whole world's gone to hell. Pardon my language.
I know I say things and people go, well, he's an idiot. And then I get a little distance from it and I'm actually right. And I want to point that out because if I don't toot my own horn, who's going to toot it? And I said when that solar eclipse happened, let's keep an eye on this because I don't think things went back the way they should have. And look at 2 years later, it's still chaos.
Exactly. And I will also say we did come, oh gosh, was it 2 years ago when you did the live broadcast up at the tower? We were there with you and Les.
At the Hancock?
Oh, at WLS.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. NBC Tower in Chicago. Yeah, I did that. That was the first live of the podcast, and that turned out well, and I enjoyed that. And I'm so glad that Alan Delinka, the producer of this, suggested we go to this on Fridays, and he had the platform ready, so he said I could just plug you in, and he does a great job producing this, and
he's
Keith
been
does
awesome
the
for
rest
us.
of the week. I'm real lucky to have all these fabulous people around me because they help me and make me look good.
Absolutely. And you know what? It's just like I said, I enjoy, it's just like, even though I don't want to say trapped at home, but some of us
we are.
have to
We
work.
kind of are, yeah.
But I love it. It's like, you're my next door neighbors. This podcast is like giving me hope. We're not talking about negativity. We're not talking about politics. We're not talking about any of that. I love the subject you guys bring up. It just makes me feel good. And I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you.
Phil, that's all I wanted to do. I know Leslie, I won't speak for her, but I think her philosophy is the same. I just want to get through the day and have some yucks and think that there is light at the end of this dark tunnel, and we're all in this together. I mean, this is a big boat that we're all in. Nobody's escaping this one. And what can you do? Well, you can just have some fun and wait for us to go through to the other side of whatever this is. And that's why we like doing it too, because we like having you on board and everybody else that checks in during the live shows and during the week. So thank you for your support, Phil. I hope you have a great Thanksgiving in Michigan, and we'll continue to do this.
Absolutely.
We got nowhere else to go.
We got nowhere to go.
Yeah, exactly. And Gary, I just want to say, you have a blessed Thanksgiving. Let's just all pray and we'll get through this. We're going to get through it with you and Leslie's help. We're going to get through this. Thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
Phil. Thanks, Phil. Have a great weekend. And Fridays have become kind of a ritual for me, and you can tell us what you do, Leslie, but I like to start the day with something that's going to distract me until I get to this moment, because I build up to this moment. I was raking leaves today and just kind of getting some fresh air. And then as it gets closer to this, I start to go, oh, okay, so I got to plan my drinks, and it's a whole thing. And then we end the day together doing this. And for me, that's aces. I love this.
And in a time of COVID, it's really a great opportunity to shower and put on some makeup and feel kind of normal. Because, well, if you're in the Illinois area, the big lockdown, I just got a warning on my phone saying the big lockdown starts right now. Emergency alert, effective today. All of Illinois enters tier 3 mitigation. So, shoot, if we don't come here and have fun, there ain't much fun to be had.
3 months ago, I didn't know anybody who had COVID. I now know probably around 10 people that have it. One that was on a ventilator this week and is improving a little bit, but now it's getting even more serious, even though I knew it was serious before. But when it gets closer to you, when you know people, now you start to think, okay, what can you do? Can you go anywhere at some point? You worry about everything. I wear the face mask. I do all that, keep away from people. But you just think maybe it won't matter. Whereas Keith, the producer of the show here, said he went up to do this function and then boom, right there, gets it.
Well, and luckily, he and his wife are young and they're healthy generally. So their case is kind of the best case scenario. And look how miserable they've been. This is kind of a big scary thing. You know what's funny though is how quickly we adjust as humans. I am now using hand sanitizer without even realizing that I'm doing it. Like I get out of the grocery store and I got the steering wheel all wiped down, and it's like, shoot, a year ago this never would have crossed my mind.
Yeah, I have my wife power wash me in the driveway before I go in. This is the new normal.
Very special.
I think, yes, even I'll do that even before COVID, and I'll do it after. I wonder if after this, when we don't have the mask, we go into a store, we're going to feel naked, because we're getting very used to this feeling of the mask and going through that ritual. And I wonder what's going to happen. I remember reading this story. Did I tell this story about Isabella Rossellini?
I don't think so, but you know, we've all been drinking, so go ahead and repeat yourself if you did.
She's the daughter of the famous act, whatever her mother's name. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Blue Velvet. I mean, yeah.
Yes, that Isabella Rossellini. When she was younger, she, I believe, broke her back, or she did something where she was in a full body cast for almost a year and would just lie in bed, look out the window and watch kids playing and everything for a year. She gets the cast off. She keeps the cast, and she had to sleep. She crawled back into the cast for weeks afterwards because she got so used to the comfort and security of the cast. And I know it's an extreme example, but the mask now is so, as you mentioned, so much part of the day and our rhythm that we're going to keep doing it or feel like we should do it even after we don't have to.
Well, it's like that woman, Temple Grandin, who she's a very open about her autism, and she needs to be squeezed because it makes her feel secure. And she created this little squeeze box that helps her get that feeling. And it's how she also helped create slaughterhouses. But that's the thing. There is like a feeling of security maybe that we're now embracing in all of this mask wearing. But did you ever wear one just a little too long and now it's got like that funk about it?
Well, I try to toss them if it gets to that point. Now that the dollar
there's a
store is
moment
selling,
where it just flashes over and it's like,
now that the dollar store has them 2 for $1, there's no excuse for keeping one longer than it should. All right, let's
Gary
do
loves
some of
his
your
dollar store.
Oh my God. I'm willing to be their spokesperson. I can sell dollar store stuff. I know exactly the right things to get at the dollar store. Let's do some batches here, some of the stuff.
So we're well into the 21st century, and yet it turns out people aren't keeping up. According to new research, lots of online users are still using the most easily hacked passwords in their day-to-day activities. Of the 200 worst passwords, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is still the most commonly used one, with more than 2.5 million people opting for it as their default. According to password management company NordPass, it takes less than a second to crack that code. Research finds that other easily hacked passwords like I love you and password are still widely used as well. You want more?
Okay. This keeps playing in my head that animals are smarter than humans more and more. I would imagine a monkey would change his or her password more often than a human at this point.
He'd throw in some characters and maybe some capital letters in there and stuff too. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's my password.
Humans are getting colder. 200 years ago, a physician named Carl Wunderlich established 98.6 as the average human body temperature. But according to scientists at the University of California, that temperature has been dropping in recent years. 97.5 degrees is now the US average, 97.9 if you live in Europe. It's still unclear why this is happening. One explanation points to fewer fevers thanks to antibiotics and cleaner living. Another hypothesis suggests that modern heating and air conditioning is the cause. Bodies these days just don't have to work as hard to regulate their temperatures.
Yes, during the summer, I like when it's 80 degrees out, you go into a restaurant or a store and they've got it set to 47. Like they think that's more pleasant than 80.
We wait all winter for some warm weather, and then these jackasses have it set at 50.
Right. My nipples are hard and everything is trying to climb up into my body, if you know what I mean. They're shrinking.
When aren't they? No.
Yes. Hey now.
And if you plan on being in Canada anytime soon, officials there are asking you not to let the moose lick your car. Moose apparently love licking roads off of cars, and it can get dangerous for everyone involved. Once a moose gets used to licking road salt off cars, they can quickly become addicted, says one official. It's like crack for them. The animals, which can weigh well over 1,000 pounds, then become desensitized to cars, causing them to congregate around roads, increasing the chances of moose car collisions. Those can be deadly. And on top of that, moose tongues and antlers apparently are murder on a car's finish.
Have you ever seen a moose tongue up in the tailpipe? You ever seen a grown man naked, Timmy? You like gladiator movies like this?
Do you like gladiator?
Is that it?
This is an adult podcast, so warning.
Needless to say, right, not sufficient for families.
And I got one last one. Construction is nearly complete on the world's first fully transparent sky pool in London. It's a giant acrylic pool suspended between 2 high-rise apartment buildings in Vauxhall. The 75-foot-long pool was created and tested for strength here in the United States before being shipped across the Atlantic. In the coming weeks, the pool is going to be filled with around 40,000 gallons of chlorinated water, which will allow swimmers a crystal clear view of the city some 115 feet below. Only residents of the adjacent apartments will have access. Units start at just under $1 million a piece.
Have you seen a picture of it?
It's a rendering because they've got the actual pool kind of covered right now, so you can't see the real thing until the big unveiling, and it looks really freaking terrifying.
And then I think back to those days when I was a kid and I had to swim naked at the public pool. And some people are going to go naked through that from one building to the other. Now that is worth it. That's worth the assessment fee. Now that I pay. I like that. All right. Hey, that's it. No live show next Friday, but in 2 weeks we're back on the live show.
Hang on, Gary. We got stuff we haven't run.
Wait a minute.
We got stuff we haven't run. I got a button I can push.
Okay. Yeah. We got the sponsors, the fine sponsors, Bettenhausen.
Hey, Bettenhausen, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. Bettenhausen, 159th Street, Bettenhausen.
And if you need a mortgage or a refi, David Hochberg and his team, they're the people to call. I talked to David yesterday. The rates, he said, are in the high twos. If you can buy right now, this is the time. The low rates, and they will take care of you. They'll do a free consultation. Call that number. This is it's a buyer's market. Come on. If you can pull the trigger now, do it. Not like Gianni Russo pulled the trigger on those two guys, but on a mortgage or a refi. And I think that's, Alan, you've got a couple Christmas photos from Disney World that you'd like to show?
Well, it's a lot more than a couple, but I'll keep it real short here since we're late into the show. The first bit of news actually came today. I mean, the interesting thing is that with Illinois closing down, Florida just keeps continuing to open. All the parks here are open. Disney announced last week in the earnings call that they've increased attendance to 35% of the total usual capacity. And just today they announced, I got to turn off that little bug in the corner to show this graphic. They're reinstituting park hopping starting in January 1st. It's going to still be limited. There's a process, and folks who are going to come down need to understand the process because it's not like it was before. If you give me 1 second here, though, I will put up, that's the wrong button. Gee. It is really hard to talk, and it's hard to talk and push buttons at the same time, Gary. Especially after I did
a glowing review a few minutes ago.
After I was on a Zoom this afternoon, and I was on 3 Zooms yesterday. My goodness, this is
you're over zoomed.
I'm over zoomed. I'm overstimulated. Here's the. There we go. There's the Christmas parade, which isn't a parade. They call them cavalcades, but the. There's the button combination.
We went down to Disney World around the holidays years ago, and I got to say, for a cynical old me, I was really blown away by some of the festivities that they put on. You can imagine this is their wheelhouse.
Yeah,
they know
and
how to do this.
And what they're doing this year with the scaled down events in the park is interesting. So the marching band comes through with the soldiers. It's not a full-fledged parade. You see the streets clear. People aren't super congregating on the sides of the street. I don't know if I've got a quick way to flip, but Santa comes in the parade, followed by following the reindeer. You see more people here in the park than I saw last time. I mean, last time you were commenting on how empty the park seemed, but I always know how to take a picture like this where there's nobody in my picture, but there are a lot of people around me. And this was just one I got a kick out of when I was shooting in the park the other day. This guy I wanted to say because I thought you'd appreciate, I thought was auditioning for a job at one of the delivery services that aren't paying to subscribe to your show, right? One of the ones who's sometimes throw gifts over fences and whatnot, right?
Okay. Whatever that means, I don't know.
Well, you know, there's if you want that new monitor and they just throw it over your front gate instead of put it gently on your front porch, that's what I'd say he's auditioning for. So we've got character shots, and I want to skip ahead here to the nighttime because these are the really incredible views. They're now using an even more enhanced projection technique to project images on the castle at night. It's video based, and the castle has several different looks for the holidays. There's this one that we were already nicknaming the ugly sweater. It has different looks depending on which of the sides of the castle you're on. You can see it from 3 different sides. There's another view of it here. And as you can see from this, if it's kind of dark depending on how your monitor's set.
Yeah, but there are people there.
There are people. And the interesting thing is it also depends on which angle you take the photo from. From here, I thought, oh no, I'm going to have to go through this huge crowd. And as I walk down Main Street to get out of the park, most people were minding their distance. This is somewhat of an optical illusion of gathering everybody together, but the park was by no means empty. It was pretty darn crowded. You can see that people are sort of in their groups and there's sort of waves as you go back. The characters are up high on the train station to say goodnight, and it's
this
fun.
is also psychedelic during a pandemic. It just
and it's
it's Disney World. They're carrying on. They don't care. That's the way it should be. Damn it. And Alan is back. Alan's been there a couple times now. He wasn't there for months, and now he's feeling comfortable.
Well, the temperature went down. That was one of my concerns. I mean, I think on the whole that Disney is operating responsibly from what I can tell, right? They're taking folks' temperatures. There's sanitization stations everywhere. They're really trying to keep people apart. Having said that, the parks felt more crowded this week when I went, which was it was the fourth and fifth time I've been to the parks. It was more crowded this week than it had been 2 weeks ago when I was last there, to the point where I was more uncomfortable this time. And
it's gonna be like Costco or Home Depot pretty soon. I mean, talk about crowds.
and the difference is, I think that you do hear the Disney cast members, as they call their employees, telling people, put your mask on, and folks are fairly well masked up in the places where they're supposed to be, and folks are mostly minding their distance. Not everyone, not all the time, and this virus doesn't care if it was a mistake or not, right? It's
right.
An infection's an infection. So is it perfectly safe? No. Is it safer than your local grocery store? That's been my feeling so far, but with the numbers going up and with the attendance going up, and Disney has said that they've got quite a few bookings between Thanksgiving and Christmas, I'm not sure how often I'm going to go between now and New Year's anyway.
Hi-ho,
you make us feel like there is some normalcy out there, whether it's the way it should be or not, and I leave you with that's how you hold that. All right, that's it. Thanks for listening. Take the cannoli. It's coming down the aisle. It's complimentary, and that's in honor of Gianni Russo. Take the cannoli, leave the gun. What about the schnauzer over the weekend?
I know it's kind of rough, but with Johnny being our guest today, we're going to garrot, or do you say garrote the schnauzer?
Whoa, that's a little crazy before Thanksgiving, but those are the orders. And I like that all get on all fours. What's that? Fetch on all fours. That the schnauzer.
Our new, subtitles.
Exactly. Thanks for listening. Have a great weekend.
There you go.
And we're back on Monday. Fetch on all fours. And it's time to put the gear down. 3 in the green. Gears down. Flaps are down. The voice of the globe, the Garrforce, has landed.
If you like that, I got other stuff I think you're going to like. This is the Garrforce